Hello, everyone. My name is Linda, and in some way, I am a unique person because I have the longest nails in the world. Oh, I look forward to how you will now rush to condemn me and twirl your fingers at your temples. But I suggest you refrain from this and listen to my story. For some reason, everyone thinks that my nails are the result of some pointless mental problems, family problems, and my lack of basic ideas about hygiene. However, in fact, none of those theories are true. When I was born, I was a very whiny and moody baby. My mother hardly slept and had no idea what to do with me. I cried for reasons or without them, and of course, any manipulations with my body made me hysterical. Bathing, changing clothes, feeding, and even cutting my nails. All of this was like death for my mother. And at some point, she was so tired of all this and of my behavior that she decided to do everything that would make my calmness last as long as possible. She began to buy me the simplest clothes that she could put on me when necessary so that I could be done in a couple of seconds. She almost completely cut my hair so that she could comb it as little as possible and bathed me as rarely as possible. In general, she did everything to minimize stress in our lives. However, the issue of my nails was almost acute. As soon as she started to cut them, I screamed especially loudly. My face was reddening and my voice was straining, so my mother tried to cut them as little as possible too. But she could not completely avoid this because I could simply gouge myself or somebody else's eyes out. When I grew up a little, my temper changed. From a little demon, I turned into a calm and sweet angel. Now I began to enjoy bathing. My hair grew, and I waited patiently while my mother did my hair for me. From now on, I was dressed up as a princess and not as a street child. In general, life began to improve, and only the problem with my nails did not go anywhere. But now I began to ask my mother not to touch them because it hurt a lot. For some time, no one took these words seriously, but when I began to talk about it already at school age, my parents finally thought about it and took me to the clinic. Unfortunately, the doctors also decided that my relationship with nail clipping was child's play and advised my mother not to pay attention to me and persistently accustomed me to the procedure. Well, I will not say anything about what I think about the competence of these doctors, but the fact is that their suffering continued. Every time I had to get my nails clipped, I think the neighbors were ready to call the exorcist and child services at the same time. And at some point, my mother finally realized that all this was not normal. Therefore, she began to seek an accurate diagnosis from doctors, which would be the answer to the question of why did I turn from a normal child into a fiend of hell while getting my nails cut. Well, it's good that this happened. Better late than never. And now you will understand why I say this. Not without difficulty, the doctor still found the reason why I endure any manipulation with my nails so painfully. It turned out that I have nerve endings in them and that my nails are not dead tissue devoid of life, but a full-fledged organ. Some kind of horror. Fortunately, this problem did not affect my toenails. And then the doctor explained to my perplexed mother what nail clippings meant to me. As an example, he asked her to imagine that her nose, ears, and fingers would be cut off without anesthesia. So, on the pain scale, I felt the same every time I am deprived of my nails. My mom was horrified when she realized what I had to endure all these years and that she was torturing her own child with her own hands, dooming me to extreme suffering, and I, on the contrary, was glad that they stopped considering me a faker and hysteric. Soon then, the issues of cutting my nails had been closed, and it turns out that from that age of 9, I began to grow them out. To be honest, all the girls in class envied me, and I myself was delighted with my manicure. However, within a year, my nails had grown to such an extent that it was simply not possible to live with them any longer. Their length at that time was about half a finger. Around the same time, a new physical education teacher appeared in our school. I don't know why no one warned her about why I had such long nails, but the fact is that she mistook me for a brazen, pretentious girl and loudly resented the fact that at my age I was too early to have such nails. She did not even want to hear any explanations and said that in her classes I would have to do all the same things with all the other students would do. Can you guess what we were doing that day? Volleyball. Moreover, the teacher herself stood up to play in the opposite team and purposely threw the ball to me every now and then, and of course it didn't work out well because I tried my best to protect my nails from injury, substituting my wrist under the ball. And when they were completely bruised, I automatically put my palms under the ball, flying from the serve, and it hit me right on the nails. I had a pain shock. I screamed and then lost consciousness. I came to my senses only after 3 days, and this is not surprising because I needed an urgent nail cut due to the injury, and the doctors decided to do it for me under anesthesia. However, we had to plan to do this once a year anyway, but here we got another unpleasant surprise. It turned out that as soon as I was under anesthesia, my heart stopped. I was brought back to life with great difficulty, and that is why I was in a coma for 3 days. That is on that day. It turned out that I should forget about cutting my nails for the rest of my life. Then I began to grow my nails, seriously realizing that I would never cut them again. And if at first everything was quite tolerable, then I began to grow my nails seriously, realizing that I would never cut them again. And if at first everything was quite tolerable, then hell broke loose. I just found it hard to have them on my fingers, and then they started hurting me with their weight. In addition, the most elementary actions began to turn into special missions for me. Holding a spoon, combing my hair, brushing my teeth, buttoning up zippers on clothes, putting on shoes, tying shoelaces. All of this became more difficult for me than piloting a military fighter jet. Meanwhile, my nails began to grow even faster due to hormonal changes and began to curl. That is why they stopped being straight, wriggling like snakes that gave me panic attacks whenever I saw them. Well, now I got used to it. That is, I still had to get used to my nails because otherwise my life would have lost all meaning. For 7 years, my nails have grown by almost a meter. That's impossible, you say? In theory, it is. But since I started a hormonal surge in adolescence, my nails significantly accelerated the growth. Besides, a couple years ago, one of the doctors suggested that I try an experimental therapy that was supposed to slow down the growth of nails when we agreed, and I even went through half of the course. It turned out that the effect of such treatment was opposite. That is, my nails began to grow like crazy, and only in the first month they grew by 5 centimeters. This madness continued for almost a year until the effects of the drugs ended. It turned out that the half length of my nails grew at that time. I can't tell you how hard it was for me at that time. Now my mother helps me with everything. She puts clothes on me, helps me to eat, to take care of myself, and takes care of my safety. Safety came first when on the street. I was thinking about something and spread my nails right on the ground, and a man passing by accidentally stepped on one of them. It was very, very painful, and the injured nail then took several months to heal. So now we know that one can't put nails just anywhere. Can you imagine life with 1 meter nails? Share in the comments how it would be. Don't forget to click on the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel.